Hey everyone, Chris at Due Diligence Investors. Today we're going to be starting the beginning of a OTC markets or penny stock due diligence series. So, going to start by kind of going through different levels of due diligence. The reason why I say different levels because to just go in and pick an OTC or penny stock randomly and just start committing all your time doing due diligence on it is just, I mean, there's so many out there that's a waste of time to do it that way. So, in order to use your time wisely, it's necessary to look at the whole OTC bulletin board or penny stock market as a whole and find a way to narrow it down to a set of stocks that you or ticker symbols that are in your interest level, and then go from there and then pick from that group and narrow it down to the ones that you've that you think deserve your time. So what we're going to do to start this off is we're on this website called eoddata.com or endofdaydata.com. It tracks the end of the day data for pretty much every stock traded on every exchange. We're going to go to the OTCBB or the OTC bulletin board. This is going to pull up alphabetically every OTC stock that's trading. And the way that I have found works best for me is I like to focus on volume first to determine which ones I look at to take to the second level of due diligence. And there's a lot of different levels that I do in due diligence before I actually fully dive into one ticker symbol. So the reason why I start with the volume is because, say I picked this stock here, Alternative Investment TR. So AAAT or AAAIF is the ticker symbol. It had a high today of 8 cents, a low of 8 cents, and a close of 8 cents. Why was it so narrow of trading? Well, it only had 100 share volume. So say I was the person who purchased this 100 shares. Well, how am I going to sell this if I'm the only person that traded in this today? So how about this 14,000 shares on ticker symbol AABB, Asia Broadband Incorporated? And so see, it had a little bit wider trading range, had a high of just over 4 cents, a low of just over 3 cents, 3.25 cents, and a close of just over 4 cents. So it closed at the high of the day, but it's still down on the day. So 14,000 shares on a stock that's trading at 4 cents per share, that's not enough volume to do anything with. So that's about $50 worth of shares that traded today in this stock. So let's look at the chart in this one. So that pulls up a new tab, brings up this chart, and then we can look at, okay, the chart looks decent, but when it's only trading at 14,000 shares, so it's on a little bit of an uptrend, and then it's pulling back a little bit. It's bouncing off that's the 20-day moving average, it looks like. The high volume in the last 2 weeks is 331,000 shares. So if I bought 100,000 shares 2 weeks ago or a week ago, whenever that was. In order for me to sell, I would have to be the only person. I'd have to have somebody buy or sell into the bid at the highest volume day since then, basically. So it's not enough volume to really sustain. And then with how much it's moving, it's likely on low volume is likely to come back down. So over over 2 million shares traded in one day on a consistent level. So let's look at this one here. That trade 2 million, it was down for the day, but it's consistently, and there's one day where it was under a million shares in the last week. There's a high volume, 16 million shares there. So obviously, if I bought the same 100,000 shares in this company, it would be in this ticker symbol. It would be a lot easier to get out of the position if I came across some due diligence that made me think that the company wasn't doing what they said they were doing, or they were heavily diluting the stock, or any reason that caused, maybe I was up 100% and just wanted to take my profits, or down 20% and wanted to cut my losses. This kind of volume makes it a lot easier to get out without having to hold for a long period and sell into the bid far below what you wanted to get out of it at. So let's go ahead and close these out and see if we can't find one. See if we can't find one that was green on the day that trades over 2 million shares for the day. So we're going to scroll through here. See, there's a lot of low volume, some green, some red on the day, some high volume red. Don't want to mess with that. So here's one of ABPR is a ticker symbol, Airborne Security and Protective. Dude, I don't really like this, the fact that it's at trip zeros. So it had a high of trip 05, a low of trip 04, close at trip 05. 3.7 million shares traded, up 25%, which isn't a big deal when you're trading that low. So let's see what the chart, and as you see, there is no activity anywhere up until the last few days. There's, looks like 37 million shares traded 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and then it's been slowly getting, I guess both days with just over 3 million, just under 4 million there, but it's been trading right around the same amount at a high of trip 05 here and here. On the high volume day, it had a high of trip 07, but since the volume dropped off, it hasn't been able to get back above trip 05. So that's a huge resistance level for this, and most likely it won't be getting back over it. I'm not going to go into any more due diligence on this one because it doesn't really seem worth my time. I like to pick ones that have a steady uptrend, and then I get into further due diligence on it and trading a little bit higher than that. So here's another one, 8.9 million shares traded. It had a high of just over a penny a share, a low of just under a penny a share, and closed at just the high of the day. Let's see, this one's ticker symbol ACOL, Ecology Incorporated. Let's see what this chart looks like. Okay, so this one has a really narrow pattern. It looks like it broke out there. Yeah, it was a really high volume day. This could be something to look at and see why it broke out like that, why that volume increased so heavily.